What's up, guys? Marcus by himself back this week for episode 9, I think, of Amateur Hour.
Yeah, who's counting?
I've got 3 yokels with me this week. Want to go down the line, introduce yourselves?
All right. I guess I'll start. So I'm Sully. I've been playing for, it's going on 3 years now. PDGA number 145698. I am sponsored by Dying to Disc Golf, as well as RPM Discs and Infinite Disc Golf. Let's see. I travel a lot. That's like a big thing. Me and Chris have traveled a lot, as well as Ethan down here. You'll get to them in a second. Big accolades tournament-wise: LVC MA2 4th place finish in 2022, and MA2 24th place finish at Ledgestone in 2022. And I'll let Chris have his time in the sun.
Thanks, guys. I'm Chris, PDGA number 108816, also sponsored by Dying to Disc Golf. I don't play as much as I used to. Been battling some injuries. I'm also a dad, so dad life.
Yeah,
but been to LVC, like Sully touched on. We do travel a lot. Made it out to Boston last year. That was actually really fun. Got to play Maple Hill. Biggest accolade from last year was finally shooting my 1,000 rated round.
Oh, yeah, that was a big deal.
Yeah,
that was a good one. That was
What
a
course
good
was
round.
that at?
The shore ones. It
It was Windrush at Shore Runs.
It was Windrush?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was a fun time.
That was a
Yeah.
big one,
that
yeah.
was a sick round.
That was a good tournament, too.
All right, well, I'm Ethan, PDGA 209227. I started my disc golf career in Colorado, but now I'm out here and back in Buffalo trying to represent Team Spartan. I'm pretty much the only one here that's on the
I
team.
mean, love
so-
Spartan, but like,
We do.
Yeah.
We do,
Yeah,
but
We love them.
obviously.
rival team type.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit of an outlier right now, but I'm also kind of relatively new to the sport, I'd say, skill-wise. I really just started taking it seriously about a year ago, actually.
Yeah, it was LVC you
Yeah.
really started,
Yeah.
because you said you got addicted to it more
Yeah.
at LVC.
I took a clinic with Dan, playing with you, caddying for you, like just being around that entire environment. It lit a fire under me.
Yeah, it's addicting to be
Yeah.
around that like
Yeah.
that. It totally is.
Yeah. It was big.
You said you started out, like, what, I mean, have you seen major progression from yourself just over this time?
I feel like I'm a different player from when I was at LVC being just a caddy to now where I feel like I would actually try to sign up for MA3. Like, I wouldn't expect to place higher or anything like that, but just I actually feel confident enough in my skills and confident enough in the progression I've made in the last year where if I had the opportunity, I would have signed up,
Yeah.
Yeah, and like where you are now, just based on what I saw you putting, I haven't seen you play since you came back,
Yeah.
since you moved back to Buffalo. But like you were putting pretty solid. Like you would
Yeah.
compete in MA3, no doubt.
Yeah, the putting's been crazy. Like, I've just been dialing that in recently. One of our mutual friends, he has a putting set up in his basement. We hang out there, and I'll spend an hour or two just putting, and it's been really helping me, honestly.
Very lucky to have him to have that.
Yeah.
Is that Kelsey's basement?
I'm like Kelsey. He's got like 10-foot ceilings in his basement, and we can get to like 40
yeah.
feet, and that's
Yeah.
like you
That's
just
huge.
don't have that luck in most places.
Even the
especially
around the
down
pole putt's fun.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
and exactly. It's wide open, so you can just practice from anywhere. Yeah, we're very
that's really
fortunate
cool.
for that. Exactly.
Yeah, he's got the marksman basket, like the one that's a little bit bigger than normal, and then a normal size basket, but it's got the sleeve on it, so you have to get it in the center.
Oh, is
Yeah.
like the putting cap? Was
Yeah,
that what it's called?
yeah,
What do you guys
yeah.
think of that? Because like we can talk about that because I think they're weird and I don't like them.
I actually like it. Don't get me wrong. There's tons of putts where I hit the basket or I hit the mesh part of it, and I'm like, that would have went in.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's not the point.
Right.
The point is to get that dialed in. That way, if you're only making a mistake, like it's usually a minor mistake, that would still
It
go in.
would still go in.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought they were too restrictive. Like, I get it for putting practice, but like, at the same time, I think you need that feel of like, okay, I made that putt.
Yeah.
Like that was a good putt. If my putt, I throw a hyzer putt, a lot of mine wouldn't go in on that because I hit like it's like in bowling, I think, where you don't want to hit dead center on the pins.
Yeah, you want to hit.
You
just
want to
off
come
the
in
right,
off
just
to the left or
depending
right.
on your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
not very forgiving for different styles of putting.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's more direct spin putting.
Yeah, that's my only takeaway with that. But I've never used one, so I would be curious to try one.
I kind of agree with you on that. It's just like marksman's. At least you've got.
You still have to
this.
hold basket.
Yeah, you're hitting that center, and it's just
Yeah.
being more accurate. Where, you're just barely above a disc size with those things.
Yeah, because I saw Bodanza disc golf. I don't know if you guys watch a lot of YouTube and see him.
I've seen him.
I've watched like
Shoot
one or two
fire,
videos.
yeah.
I started
yeah.
watching him, but he did it, and I didn't realize it was different sizes as you went around. You could spin
Really?
it. I didn't know that.
I did not.
Have we been restricting ourselves
Yes.
this entire time?
Yeah,
I'm guessing
there
so.
is like there's
Yeah.
the
I gotta
big
come
old
back to you guys on this.
the smaller one.
Pause this,
Yeah,
we'll
there's
come
there's
back.
4 different sizes
Yeah.
as you spin the basket.
I just figured it was so that people
I thought
could
so
go
too.
from all around.
I didn't realize that either
Yeah.
until I saw his review of it.
Because they had him
That's
set
very
up too at
interesting.
LVC.
They did have him at LVC last
Yeah.
year. I remember that. And I
Two
remember
of them.
thinking like that sucks.
I think that's where he got his or the idea to get. Like,
The
Yeah.
idea to get it,
yeah. And that's
That would make a lot more sense because
Because then you like if you want to just like make it a little easier on yourself, you spin it to the big one. It's like it only limits it to like a disc and a half width, where the other one's like barely over a disc, the small one.
Mm-hmm.
So touching on what you said, like with your hyzer putt, I think it's more so like with the spin putters, it's more so for you to reach out to the basket and shake hands with the basket.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it's getting you into a routine of. So you're not
Right.
Because if you're pulling left or right, you're gonna notice that, especially
Right, a
on
lot
that-
quicker.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they're not going
oh,
to catch.
yeah.
That's one thing that's actually helped me with the putt that I have. Like, I have more of just like a kind of crouch and then launch into it because I've been trying to get it in that center. So I'm trying to get some spin on it, and that's the only way I'm really finding for me to do it with just putting in general. Because usually I'll lean forward and stuff, so it helps me keep my back straight. But
Okay.
yeah, I'd say I'm more of like a kind of hybrid spin push putter.
Now, do you guys video your putting? Like I know people do video for their form, but do you guys video your putting?
That's a good question because I think I need to more, but I haven't.
Okay.
Usually it's people like our teammate Jeff, who's just like,
Jeff loves video.
"What the
Yeah,
hell are you doing?"
he's a media guy.
Well, no, the first time I saw you jump putt, there were
Yeah.
legs going there were body parts in every direction. It was one of the funniest things
Should I
I've
do it real
ever
quick?
seen.
Just
No.
because it was like
It was-
arms
dude,
everywhere.
Arms in every direction. And like the limbs
was
were just
bad.
I was just like,
Oh.
dude, that's not a real jump putt.
You
Like
ripped
that's not
on me.
real. And you've gotten so much better about it too.
Yeah.
So like sometimes you just like you don't realize what you're doing if you're not videoing yourself. Like I think I bring the disc down to it and then stop and then go, but I actually bring it down and then swoop a little bit and then go.
Yeah.
And I don't
I
notice
think
that.
that's what was happening tonight too. That's why they were diving on you.
Yeah, because I was
Especially-
coming back down up at it.
Yeah.
I've recorded myself putting. This was last year when I was dialing my putt in. Virtual putting league helped during COVID, especially.
Virtual putting league
I
was
saw
great.
saw a lot of what I was doing wrong, and that kind of helped me change.
Yeah.
I was bringing it to my right side and hitting my leg.
Yeah.
Now it's more
you bring
center.
it center and then out. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all depends. You don't have to. Not everyone has to putt the same.
Yeah.
But as long as you're keeping it on the pole the whole time.
Yeah.
You like I teach bring it down on the pole and back up on the pole.
Yeah.
This is a
You
shake
can
hand.
bring it anywhere you want as long as you release it on the pole.
Yeah, and I'd say like for me, I actually bring it down a little bit more to my left, like not too much, but it's just finding that comfortable sweet spot of just consistency. And I've also figured out that something that's helped is just gripping my putter more because that
Yeah.
helps me
Yeah,
with the
you
more
grip it a little
consistent
tighter, you get a
release.
little more spin, a little pop.
Yeah, yeah.
But I will say, and this is new with the younger guys, like Gannon, Kyle Klein, Marweed, they all kind of bring it to the side and sling it.
Yeah,
That's what
Justin
Justin
does.
That's
No,
a-
Justin brings it to his front hip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
These
That's-
guys
yeah.
bring it to their back hip and sling it in.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost like a new style of putting that
It
we
really
haven't
is,
seen
yeah,
before,
and
it's
they're
done so
lethal.
well. Yeah,
Yeah,
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're like, oh, he's gonna blow past the basket, and he just hits dead center every
I
time.
mean, I remember last year being at LBC watching Gannon putt.
Yeah.
and
yeah.
Yeah.
He was zipping them from 60.
Yeah,
And,
and
they
they're
were-
lasers.
They're laser
Exactly.
dead on the pole, and I'm just like,
Basically, what we're saying is there's no right way to putt.
Yeah. It's also
As long
ways
as the
to
disc is
skin a
going
cat.
in the basket, I don't care what you look like.
Yeah.
I'll make
Yeah.
fun of you, but
you could be doing.
I mean, we
scoops
make
as
fun
long
of
as it-
each other all day.
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
putts, so.
Yeah. It's just what you master too, but
And I mean, these putting leagues prove that where it's not always the most conventional style. Like there's 100 ways to skin a cat. Just get the disc in the basket.
yeah, put the disc in the
This
basket.
guy here, a couple weeks ago, that was turbo putting.
Oh yeah, Doug,
Yeah.
and he's lights out turbo putter too.
25,
Yeah.
30 footer turbo putt.
Doug
awesome.
just
Yeah.
drains it. I mean, Reed would do that. When I started playing with Reed,
Yeah.
he would just I showed him, I was like, oh yeah, you can putt it like a basketball, or you can putt like football.
Yeah.
And he was like, he just drilled them. Like it was second instinct for Reed to
just
just
something
turbo
just
putt.
clicked. You know?
It's something I can't do.
I
Yeah.
can't
Yeah.
turbo putt.
No.
I'm bad at it. I got better from watching Reed do it, and like
can
Reed
scoop
taught
her.
me how to. I can scoop. I made one at Pinewoods once over the log on
Yeah.
13.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll get a picture of that. and
That's
put it in.
good.
Yeah, I actually played a tournament back in Colorado with somebody, and his entire putting game was just turbos, unless it was like deep circle 2. And I'm like, hey, if it works for you, man.
Yeah.
Like,
There was a guy it was my second round at LVC,
This guy.
and he was from another country. I can't remember what country it was, but he was traveling with somebody that was on tour, and he was 60 feet out, feet together, locked, legs stiff, and was just from the center just putting and lasering them. And I was standing off to the side like, how the heck does he do this? Like, no knee bend, nothing.
Yeah. That's the other thing. You should always go to big tournaments. You meet so many people, but you bring back these stories to tell the people.
Yeah, exactly.
You always come back from a big tournament, like a pro tour stop. If you can play on the amateur side of a pro tour stop, go and you will bring back some stories for your buddies.
Yes.
They are some of the funniest stories ever.
You also had the guy that was thumbering, right?
I was just about to bring that
Yeah,
up.
he was. Yeah,
throwing
that was,
like 350 off the tee. With
it was
the
round
thumber.
1 and in the finals. He was throwing thumbers, and he was throwing them 500 feet and like parking the basket.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, he's just like looking at it. He's like, all right, I'm gonna grab this disc, and then just thumbered it, and then was 2 feet from the basket. And I'm like,
Yeah, if you,
dude.
I mean, you look at this. This is a deep cut old reference, but Colorado Joe Revere. I don't know if any of you guys even know who Joe Revere
I
is.
definitely heard the name, but that's just being.
I hope
an
you've heard
Yeah.
the name because he's just like a Colorado legend.
Yeah.
Dude would just like throw nuke OSs, just like rip thumbers and tomahawks with nuke OSs and get like 450.
I think that's what he was using too.
Yeah,
He wouldn't
you-
tell
you-
us, but I was like, that's a nuke.
It's a nuke OS.
It's not- yeah. And it was beat in too, but
Yeah.
he was deadly with them. And
Yeah.
he just beat me. I think he got like 3rd place at,
Okay.
yeah, he was an awesome guy though.
Yeah, he's definitely cool people.
That was the thing for getting past that 4th place spot for me though, was just I could have the mental game, I could be smart, but getting that distance, especially out in somewhere like Vegas.
Somewhere like Vegas.
You need the distance.
We talked about it in episode 2 of the podcast, but like I didn't like the Vegas courses. I think they're not fun if you're an amateur.
It's definitely mixed review. I feel like you need the distance.
You need 400 or more. Like
Yeah.
you need a 400-foot golf line
Yeah.
to get there.
And
And it's
then
hard.
and then you have to play for the skip.
Yeah, and you got to be
Especially
playing
there.
for where you're going to skip to. Yeah,
Sometimes-
and you do gain like 40 feet of skip out
You
there
do.
on those
You
golf
really
courses.
Which is cool.
Oh,
There was
yeah.
it was on factory course. Was it factory
I can't
or
believe you guys rattle off these courses. They were all the same course to me.
All I know is that
Oh, it was-
factory was the biggest one.
it was infinite. I think it was
They
on
all
infinite
felt big
course.
to
It was
me,
a-
like-
it was a crossing shot, and some dude skipped it in from off the tee, 60-foot skip
Yeah,
into
Yeah.
chains on a basket that was downhill.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
It was sick.
Yes.
I mean, I can definitely say for, because I did practice rounds for the LBC
Yeah.
courses. Like, they were very unforgiving to me. I lost discs. I lost, esteem.
Yeah.
I was beaten down by those courses.
Yeah.
But
They're long days.
I feel like I would
was.
have more fun with them now with where I'm at. But I still agree that unless you're MA2 or even MA1, they're really
Yeah.
not that
Yeah.
forgiving at
I mean,
all.
I wasn't throwing well when we were there. It was like now it was February of
Yeah.
like so in Buffalo we don't really get good weather until May.
exactly.
Yeah, we
So-
had 40 degrees today, which was
I know we had
very
40 degrees
surprising.
today and I
Yeah.
had to work.
It was no wind until we got to Como.
Until we showed up to play, then the wind came.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah. But I mean, I get what you're
But
saying
like
too, though.
you're coming out of the off season, it's hard to fly out to Vegas and then perform.
yeah.
a long flight.
Yeah. Go throw a big tournament after
Yeah,
being locked
after
in.
being
for the
locked
snow.
in. Yeah, absolutely.
I was just coming off that injury. Dude.
And you were
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Exactly. That's where I was like coming off my rounds. I'm like, wait, I'm lead card tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah, you were throwing really well out there.
Yeah, you played
I was
really
playing
well out
smart
there.
golf because it really is. It's you versus the OB out there sometimes. I mean,
Yeah.
the amount of
It's
hazard and
brutal.
stuff. But there is parts where I'm like, I just threw the shot. You
Whole
know?
14 Innova.
Yeah.
You guys say that stuff like it
I know,
means
and
anything.
and that not everybody. If we had a map
I'll
that we could
pull-
put
I'll
up,
pull-
but
I'll put the picture in here of hole 14 from last year.
But, I mean,
He's like a
how
legend
we-
for this.
Well, we've played every course at least twice.
Yeah,
here and
practice.
there, and we studied it. We had whole meetings about
Right,
getting
and you
ready.
guys- and it might have been different if I had been playing. I wasn't playing. I didn't sign up.
Correct.
So I might have cared more.
We took it more serious on our trip back from Charlotte last year. We had a 10-hour drive.
Right.
We watched all 3 rounds of
Yes.
coverage and picked apart each hole.
Right.
And decided what shots would work where.
Yep, we did the meeting and
Yeah.
at my
Yeah, I went there for that. I remember that.
We paused video. We did all these analytics.
But for you,
'cause-
it was a lot different. You
It was a
were
lot
You were
different,
doing
yes.
I was just
your
selling discs all day.
Yeah.
You were loving it.
That was so much fun.
But we met some awesome people
Oh,
selling
we met
discs
some
there
we
too.
met such
Oh, yeah.
good people.
When we got to talk to Greg Barsby
Greg
for like
We got
Barsby.
Greg Barsby
15,
for like an
20
hour.
minutes.
He just
Yeah.
came and hung out.
He talked
took
to
a
each
disc
and
for-
every one of us individually for like 10, 15 minutes easily.
That's
it was
when
such a good experience.
We were doing the basket pyramid, and you were trying to throw it towards. You're trying to get it in, and we were obsessed with it. And then I remember Kelsey running over saying, Barsby wants to meet you. And I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, we were just hanging out, and Barsby came over.
Excuse me?
Because what had happened is I had followed around with someone else that we knew from the West Coast who happened to be on a card with Barsby. So I got to chatting with Barsby. It was an early card. They weren't playing great, but so it was just me, these 4 guys on the card, this kid's dad, and like this infinite. I think if you watch Goat Hill this year, I think it was that Rock kid, the Infinite sponsored guy.
Oh,
I can't remember his name, but I think it was him on the card because he looked really familiar to me, and I couldn't figure out why. That's irrelevant. But we got talking to Barsby, and then I ran into him. He was in the vendor area, so I was like flagged him over, and I was like, "Hey, do you want like a disc?" We had Sully's design discs, and I was like, "Hey, do you want come grab one of these?" And he was like, "Oh, I want to talk to whoever made it." And so we ran over and grabbed Sully.
Yeah, and then
That's you.
Yeah, he talked to him, and we exchanged information too, and he was awesome, and I was like, really, he wants to meet? Like, I'm just trying to win a basket off the pyramid. Like, what is it? You're pulling my leg, and he was awesome, and he asked me to sign his disc, and you can't not love him now for it.
I know.
I was cheering for him when he was winning.
Mm-hmm. I'm a huge Barsby fan after that.
It was.
Yeah. He told me the story about like one time he was on a card and like he had this really cocky young kid come in and the kid was doing great, but then Barsby's like, all right, watch this, and like kind of just humbled him a little bit. And just after talking to him, I was like, this is the kind of attitude that newcomers like me really like to see.
Mm-hmm.
Like the older generation of disc golf being welcoming, but at the same time like we earned our spot here, you guys should too. And that's a very respectable opinion and like way of looking at it. So
I mean, a lot of them are like that too, because I remember Jordan Castro coming over and helping Mike Kelsey.
Yeah.
Because he was having trouble putting. And he's like, hey, I see what you're doing. Like, I can see you're struggling. Do you want a tip? And he's like, why wouldn't I want a tip? Like,
I'm gonna say no for you.
I'm gonna say no to Jordan Castro.
Yeah.
No, a lot of the pros are cool guys. Like they're just they're just disc golfers. They're just guys that throw frisbees, and they love it just as much as we do.
They definitely do want their space, though.
Well, that's what we talked about with Dan.
Yeah.
Like give them space on the course, but if they're like hanging out in the crowd or like with the vendors and stuff like that, like just you can walk up and just say hey.
Yeah.
And like Barsby changed my grip. Like we were just talking about it. We were talking about. He's like, yeah, I throw the 3-finger grip. That's what Girthy does. And I was like, I never even thought of a 3-finger power grip.
Yeah.
And
That's
immediately they
actually
just
what I
snap
do.
out.
As I say, that's what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually just talking about that because I was wondering if only doing 3 fingers was hindering any power.
See,
but
the issue was I was getting my grip on my pinky too much.
Yeah.
So switching it
It
up.
was catching.
And it just wasn't ripping. It was ripping out early because I wasn't applying the pressure in the right spot on the first finger and second finger.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what the 3-finger grip, it allows you to grip it tighter on your front fingers, where then it will release at the tip of your snap better.
Huh.
Yeah.
So and that's what Girthy does. That's what I can't remember who else Barsby told us who does it,
I was
but
gonna say, I know there's 1 or 2 more that do that same thing.
Yeah.
but Barsby was telling us a story. He's like, Garrett, you're out driving me by like 100, and I'm ripping these. He's like, what am I doing? Like this is in a tournament. Barsby's telling us this. He's like Garrett, you're bombing these things past me. And Garrett's like, oh, just grab with 3 fingers. And then Barsby says, I had 50 feet, like that day.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. That's so funny how.
So that's my form tip: is grab with 3 fingers. It seriously works.
It works for me, honestly. Like I try the 4-finger and I feel like I'm gripping it too much. I end up grip locking. Like maybe it's a little bit mental as well.
It could be, and that's the thing though. Like form changes can be mental.
Yeah. 100%.
Like we just talked about. I'm working on getting my power pocket more forward in my throw, less in my body, more forward in my body. And Buckley was telling us, he sent us a video, he was like, try and think about throwing a roller. Think about the way it comes out of your hand super late when you put down a backhand roller, and then do that standing up instead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then that gets the disc out later. So like it's just mental. You think about doing one thing while you're doing something else.
Yeah.
And it totally works.
Yeah.
And especially when you're changing things up, like you start to overthink things. Like,
oh my God.
Did I do this? Did I
Absolutely.
do that? Like, did I not do what I used to be doing?
And that's why you need a video.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
the way I do, like I suggest doing form is you do one throw, you focus on what you were trying to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
You stop the video, you watch it. Did I do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no? If I did it, I try and repeat it and just try and keep repeating it.
Absolutely.
You do one throw, watch the video. One throw, watch the video.
Yep.
I think that's like most amateurs are doing too much throwing and not enough watching.
Yeah.
They're throwing a bunch of shots, then watching.
I mean, last year when Dan took us to that field last year, he figured out what I was doing wrong in about 3 minutes.
Yeah, Dan just
Yeah.
It was
Dan gets
so
form.
quick.
he
does,
and he explains
yeah.
it so well.
And
He explains it.
even me being throwing 75% last year, I was still throwing farther than I was.
Yeah. No, you were
full
bombing
power.
last year.
Oh yeah,
And you're going to be bombing this year.
watching you from LVC to now, it's like, and even Ethan, you watching you from working with Dan when we did it at LVC, and
Yeah,
then here you
yeah.
are now. I mean, Dan, I credited him when of my LVC finish. I'm like,
Absolutely.
you were
Yeah.
one lesson, just
Yeah.
made sense. I don't know what you said, but
finally
it
clicked.
stuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The
Sometimes it
forehand,
does.
yeah.
the forehand chip shot that he taught me back at LVC, I still use it and I still practice
Yeah.
it. It's so much. It's been such a utility in my bag. And
Having that forehand chip shot is huge. You can, you
It really
reach out
is.
around something, you come in, if the green sloped one way. So like I think a 7 at Como, how that green sloped away.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because
Well, especially for you.
Because I'm left-handed.
Yeah.
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 So if I throw a hyzer at it or a jump putt at 7, I'm fading down this hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I learn the forehand little chip shot, it skips back up the hill and curls up.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like that hole, I sat there and practiced it. Like I went there, grabbed my like zones and stuff, like putters like that, and just like
See, it's crazy. I learned how to jump putt from that range. From
Right.
that tree out there.
Yeah.
I just throw a jump putt at it. Now,
Yeah.
And I just let it hit the ground and curl. And I'm
Yep.
like,
Yeah.
I'm fine with
Take it.
taking par.
Oh, yeah,
because
that's a
I've
hole you
had-
want a par,
I've
yeah.
had rollaways on that hole
Yeah.
into the creek.
you roll into the
all
creek,
time.
and then
Yeah.
if it was my tournament, I'd play that creek OB.
It should be.
It should
Should
be.
be.
Because
Yeah.
there still is the shot, especially right now, that shot to cut the
Yeah,
trees.
you cut the corner.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I mean, like, mental game is such a massive factor too. On top of it, I mean,
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, you could have this great form, great stuff, and then as soon as you just get in your head, I mean, it's game over.
Absolutely.
I gotta catch this bird. I gotta
Yeah.
do that.
Oh,
I gotta.
I'm so bad about that.
Yeah, and just I mean, playing with people. I mean, it's hard to practice mental game on the
Yeah.
course. It's
Yeah.
so hard, and just trying to find those techniques of like, how do I add more pressure to the situation during a practice or a casual round
So
to do
my answer to that, and this is when me and Reed started playing, we scored everything. If you're playing around, you're scoring it.
like tournament, like you're just this
Yeah,
is,
no, my first shot counts,
Yeah.
my first putt counts. I score every round I play now.
Okay.
That's kind of how I take a lot of my casual rounds now, just because like if I take 3 mulligans throughout the round, I feel like I'm only cheating myself. Like,
You-
the score
exactly,
doesn't
and you
matter
are.
if It's a casual round,
Yep.
so I'm literally only boasting myself up in my head, thinking that I can do this, and then it messes you up because you're like, oh, I can do this, I can shoot this,
Right.
And then
But
you
it's
don't
not.
shoot that.
You can't do it because you did it the second or third time.
Yeah, yeah.
You want to get that. You want to get that repetition of like, oh, this putt, this throw matters. If I
Yeah.
messes up,
Yeah.
I'm taking a 5.
Because you just watch that basket go farther
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
15 feet. Why does it feel like it's 50 feet
Yeah,
away
because
from?
you're like, oh, my UDisc stats are going to tell me I missed
Yeah.
I
this
still
putt.
will agree,
Yeah.
though. If you mess up on your first shot, definitely take the second one.
Take the second one, but make it meaningful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trust your gut.
Trust you.
That's what I learned. I've second guessed myself on the
Oh.
tee, and I've cost myself strokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
like when
okay.
you're walking up to the tee and you're just like, oh, I know I'm gonna throw such and such
Mm-hmm.
a certain way, but then some external factor happens and you're like, oh, maybe I want to throw this one, and then you end up biffing that shot.
Exactly.
Like you watch somebody else throw something that you're not even thinking of on that.
Yeah.
Right. And that's huge. I think, Santos does this a ton. He's still thinking about what he's going to throw while he's running up. I'm like, when you get on that tee pad, and he's told me that, he's still thinking about, like, should I throw this disc?
Yeah.
While he's in his walk up. And I'm like, I think that's a horrible mentality. By the time you get to the tee pad, by the time it's your turn to throw, if you're not first, by the time it's your turn to throw, you should know what disc, what angle, what line.
Yeah.
And you should be locked in saying, I'm going to nail this. This is going to be
Yeah.
the perfect shot, and I'm going to drill it.
Yeah.
I think it all starts right after the last hole ends.
Yeah.
Your walk to that next tee pad, the only thing that I could see change is if when you step on that tee pad and it's a different wind.
If it's different wind.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
There's that like one asterisk.
But
to it.
Yeah.
that day is already going to be windy, so you're going to be walking up with, I'm going to throw this line, but with this disc or this disc.
Yep.
we get swirling winds up here though.
We do.
That's true.
And I mean,
Because Como, hole one, you can
Como,
agree
all around
it
Como
goes
just
from
swirls.
it goes from tailwind to
Yeah.
right to left to headwind, all in a matter of
Exactly.
30 seconds.
Yeah.
But if so, here's my advice. Here's what I would do. If I get to Como in a tournament and it's swirling, I've never played it. I've never played Como and swirling winds in a tournament. And we get to hole 1 where it's like, typically I'm throwing a lefty flex shot, hyzer flip or flex shot.
Yeah.
I'm just grabbing my most overstable disc on a forehand and ripping it. I'm just not. The wind doesn't matter if you throw the most overstable disc in your bag.
That's true.
I can still get 340 out of it.
Keep it
I wish.
low and let it. Yeah. I mean,
You'll get there, little guy.
I'm trying,
You'll
but
get there.
but yeah, I mean, there's obviously that asterisk of wind and stuff, or some like it's rare, but there are those times where you're like, wait, what am I doing? Why do I have this in my hand? Like,
Yeah.
you come back to yourself and you're like, what the heck am I doing? But
it will happen, but
Yeah.
for the most part,
yeah, and like you said, you got to be confident in it. I mean,
you got to be confident.
Yeah, at Ledgestone, I was in my head. It was the finals, and I'm like, there are so many people watching this right now, and I've never had that before.
Yeah.
And especially because people would just turn around from watching MPO and watch us, and I'm
Oh,
like,
were you on?
when we were
Northwoods?
playing
Or Eureka?
Northwoods,
Oh, Eureka.
yeah,
Northwoods?
it was like some of the holes would kind of
Yeah.
overlap, so
Yeah.
the pros would throw, and then here's 200-300 people turning around and watching MA2.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, turn back around there.
guys.
Yeah.
Don't look at this.
Yes,
Yeah.
but Justin Gilbert was caddying for me, and he just grabbed me and he's like, just be like, he said
Doesn't
it a lot meaner, or not meaner, but in a worse way that I can't really say. But he's like, just be confident in your shot.
Yeah.
You
Just
can say whatever you
throw.
want on this podcast.
I mean, if you want, he's just like, don't be a bitch, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm like,
Just get
it makes
better.
sense to me, but doing that and just being confident and just throwing it and just let it go and let it do its thing. Don't
Yeah.
worry about what's going to come afterwards. He's like, because if
Yeah.
you're planning your next shot, you're going to screw up that first shot.
Yeah, it's a
You're
good way to
planning
think about
for a bogey at that point.
Mhm.
And it's so hard to get out of that, especially because you're trying to make up strokes.
Yeah.
And especially in the finals, I was trying to
Well-
make up strokes, and I'm watching these people, I'm like, they are leaps and bounds better than me. And I just couldn't get out, especially with all those eyes watching you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I missed a 15-footer because I just felt every single eye on me at that point. And he looked at me and he's like, what the hell did you just... Like, that was
Why-
the worst
why am I
spot
in
I've
my
ever
underwear?
seen. Yeah.
First thing, Northwoods does that to people.
That's true.
Yeah.
Northwoods did it to me. The second is you only experience that by experiencing it. You can't learn to do that unless you're in that scenario.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like every pro you see today has absolutely shanked a 15-footer in front of
Oh,
100 people
absolutely.
at their
Oh,
local
yeah.
A tier
Yeah.
or local C tier.
I can think of almost any time somebody here in the higher tiers, I've watched them miss a 5-footer,
Oh,
dink
yeah.
from the
It
bottom of the
happens,
basket
yeah.
and roll down a hill. Like,
Yeah.
I think I said this on last week's episode, or maybe 2 weeks ago episode. I don't remember when I said it, but Dan has told me, like, I was like, Dan, I can't commit to my shots. Like in tournaments, I just can't commit. And Dan was like, just go to your local C tiers and just rip these shots. Like, don't care where they land. Just rip it, walk up to the next shot, unload on it.
Yeah.
good idea.
And then just you only get the experience by doing it, by being in that scenario and just unloading it. Like, and I was like, I can't throw hard enough. My shots come out early. So he was like, just rip it. Just go to those gaps and just unload on them. And it doesn't matter if you tank for a couple tournaments.
Yeah,
You'll
I
figure
mean,
it out.
Yeah.
Like Santos always said, scare money don't make none. So.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's our motto.
Literally, like,
For sure.
Yeah, and we say it all the time. Same
Yeah.
with putting. You got to get it up to get in because we putt low all the time.
Yeah. Amateur miss is low and am side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of.
Especially I was doing that today with
Oh yeah.
our tie games. That's what
That
ruined it
was-
for me.
oh
I
my
putted
God.
am
That
side.
was like a 25-minute match.
Oh my God, it was
brutal.
long. Yeah. Chris and I were partners today in putting. We didn't even talk about putting. Like, usually Santos starts off with it because he
Yeah.
wins. Or he beats me.
He
but
gets carried.
Yeah.
yeah, well, Chris carried me today. We came in second to two of our local pros.
Nate and Sam, man.
Yeah, Nate and Sam, was
Oh.
tough pairing.
Yeah,
Seriously.
me and my partner, we ended up getting their comeback period. Like they
Yeah.
lost 2 in a row, and then they just scorched us, and
Well,
it hurt personally.
me and Chris beat them.
Yeah,
the first
we-
match, we beat
And 4 rounds.
in,
Wow.
super quick. We
So you caused that trauma
Yes.
that they caused onto
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Thanks.
you know,
thanks.
don't worry, they got us
Sorry.
too. So.
Yeah, they got us back. Yeah, Nate just steps up and he zings.
He just
He
fires.
just does, boom.
Yeah, we already talked about it. And we're
insane.
going to get a video out there just of
Oh.
showing Nate's putt. It's
He
incredible.
was doing
So
lefty
insane.
against me. I was like, that is
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
disrespectful.
I saw that. That was some serious BM.
Like,
What
it was
really-
a 10-point difference, but
What really caught me with his putts is he lines it up like this, and then it comes out hyzer.
He does do that. You're right.
yeah.
Like he did that a lot when he was facing me, and I'm like, what? What is going on?
I used to do that too, though, because I would extreme hyzer. putt,
Yeah.
And then just putting that and
Yeah, tilting that
hyzer,
aim wrist and then.
it made me put it more flat.
And,
honestly.
yeah, I
Yep,
can
I
also
did the
see
same
it as
thing.
just like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, just a motion that you're used to, like something that's kind of muscle memory, where
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
kind of like how Paige Pierce does the little thing up
Yeah,
here.
the
Like
little-
it doesn't really
Yeah.
help her putt at all. It just helps for timing. Like
Drives me crazy.
yeah,
Yeah, you switched to holding a third putter today too.
I did. Because when I practice, so this is another thing about routines. So I do want to get one thing before. Ethan said, you was thinking about the way Nate was holding his putters. Like, that's such an amateur thing to do, though, is to think about what your card mates are doing.
Yeah.
Like, you can't worry. Like, and I do it too, though. That's the thing. When I'm playing against Sam and Nate, I'm like, oh, they're going to drain these, so I got to make these. Like, I put more pressure on myself.
Yeah.
But, like, you do it in tournaments, too. If you're in the second round, you're tied with someone, you're kind of playing match play. You're thinking about it in a match play scenario where you're like, oh, they birdied, I got a birdie. But you just got to play your game. And it's so easy. Like, we can sit here and say these things all day.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
so easy.
It's so easy to say.
It's so hard to do, and you won't know until
Yeah.
you get to those scenarios, like we're
Absolutely.
saying.
Yeah. It's just getting out there and doing it.
You can only control what you can control.
Yeah. You can only control your own game.
Yeah.
And so maybe you get a spit out. Like, you gotta be able to shake those off. Like,
It's like a pitcher in baseball.
Right.
You give up a home run, you just shake it.
you
out.
shake it
You
off and
next
throw the
pitch.
next
throw your
pitch.
next pitch.
Yeah.
Yep. You
It's
throw your next drive,
so
throw your
hard
next
to
putt.
do, though.
Yeah, it's almost like thinking about it like you're the only person you're playing against.
You are.
because-
And you're always playing yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
And
just to
you
get
gotta have
outside
that
of yourself.
goldfish memory where, like, that last shot didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I'm on to the next one.
Yeah, because
Oh.
one shot could change your trajectory if you let it get you mentally,
let it
which
get
is
you.
what we're,
Yeah.
you know.
I've seen plenty of people, especially around here, that happen too.
Oh, yeah.
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 You
They
see them on a
shake-
birdie streak, and then they hit one bogey, and they can't even make par now.
I've seen people get off the first tee and their round just be over.
See,
They shank their
that
first
happens
shot.
to me.
I was gonna say that's definitely happened to me.
I have these days where, like, I step out to the course, and by, like, hole 2, I know, like, I'm not throwing well. This day is just, I can't fix it.
That was you at
Yeah.
Newfane last year.
Oh, it was me at Newfane so bad.
Your first after the first hole, you were just done.
Yeah, and I still cashed.
Must be nice.
Fuck
Yeah,
it.
right. But yeah, sometimes
was
you just have to give up,
miserable.
though. Sometimes it's like there's no pressure on this.
Yeah.
Let's just go have fun.
Yeah, but that made me play worse.
Ah, yeah.
Actually,
that's
the,
just you,
like
man.
I did
Still cash.
Yeah.
Derby at the Dizzle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that last year, and
Yeah.
I just treated it like any other round. You know, I had Santos and Christian on my card the first time, and
Yeah.
I didn't really even play like I was playing in a tournament, and I placed 5th
Well,
in
see,
MA3,
that's
which
the
that
thing.
was wild to me.
If you can make all your tournament rounds feel like they're casual, your mentality is so much better.
Yeah.
So, like,
That's, yes.
it's a thing for sure if you're playing your local tournaments and you can ask the TD to play with your buddies.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's a bad thing. I think TD shouldn't do that. I think TD should randomize cards. But we do that. I do that. I've done it in the past. I say, hey, I'm going to play with these people.
We're human.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't going forward.
Yeah.
But if someone asks me, hey, can I play with this person? I do my best to put them on a card with them.
Yeah. And I mean, that is kind of the good thing about it being local, too, for a lot of the tournaments is, like, you know, Western New York has a big disc golf community, and we all kind of know each other through at least one degree of separation.
Yeah.
So, like, I guarantee everybody that I saw here, you know, they probably know somebody else that I know.
Yep.
And that's our connection. And, like,
Yeah.
it's really easy to get along with a lot of people out here. It's not really many people that you find that are just hard to...
Unbearable.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. I've played with plenty of people that I've never met. That's their first tournament or whatever, and I'm like, let's just have fun.
Yeah.
And I've thrown my best rounds, and they're like, I just do my best round
Yeah.
ever. And I know.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I think I'm fun to be on a card with. Like, I've had my favorite experience with in Boston when I was living there. I played around at Burgess Park, which is like notoriously wooded and like it can get you.
Yeah.
I played MPO. I shot. I think I might have told the story last week. I shot like 6 down the first round. Was feeling great. I was in like 8th place out of like 30
Yeah.
or 40
Oh,
in
yeah.
MPO. My first tournament in MPO.
it's awesome.
And the second round, I shoot 12 over. Like, I'm not joking, 12 over. I shot like 18 strokes worse.
Yeah.
And this kid on my card, Abel, who was such a great guy, he passed away last year.
Oh, that's
Abel, like,
unfortunate.
awesome kid. He was like, yeah, you're shooting a good round, right? He was like, you're in a great mood. I was like, dude, I'm like 8 over at this point. And he was like, oh man, like you're having a great time. And I was like, yeah, we're playing disc golf. I'm having a great time.
Yeah.
I'm like 8 over.
Yeah.
I'm miserable. Like inside, I want to jump off into Cape Cod.
Yeah.
I want to jump off into the bay, but like I was still playing disc golf. I was having a good time. I wasn't working that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think I'm fun to be on a card with. I try to make it so that other people have a good time when they play
Yeah.
with me.
Definitely, when I roll up to hole 1, it's definitely an icebreaker. I want to gauge what the card is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see like where can I go with jokes and
Yeah.
breaking ice, especially when somebody's frustrated.
Oh,
Because I don't
yeah.
like
It's
pushing
hard, yeah.
strings.
Right.
But I would like to see you get out of that funk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to see anyone play bad. I want to beat you, but I don't want to beat you because you stink.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't want to beat you because you got it on yourself because you threw one bad shot that time.
Right.
I want to beat you at your best.
Well, yeah, because in that aspect, you didn't technically beat them. They beat themselves
themselves.
before you even had a
Yeah.
chance to.
That's
Absolutely.
totally true.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen to your thing where you said Abel, It's like, oh, you're
Yeah.
whatever. I've seen so many people though where somebody's excited and nobody knows their score, and they're like, "Yo, great round! You're doing great right now!" And they're like, they shout out their score, and I've watched them go just tank their round.
Yeah.
That's
and
me. I
it's-
don't like knowing my
Yeah, I
score.
hate knowing my
The young
score.
girl at LVC with Lisi's card, her dad mentioned her
Yes.
score, and she
Oh,
literally.
She was really good though.
Yeah, I mean, her and
Yeah.
Lisi were neck and neck like the
She
entire
won it,
tournament.
yeah. She won it. She was 15 years old, and she was great. But yeah, I mean, I've seen it just got in her head, and yeah, but like, yeah, that helps when that's a game so much, just not knowing
Yeah.
my score whatsoever.
I'm always like first off I usually keep score, but like then I don't the way the app is set up, the way the PDGA Live app is set up, like you don't need to look at the
Correct.
card score.
Yeah,
You
it
can-
doesn't show you.
It doesn't show the
you
card
just
score.
put in for that
You just
card.
put in for that card and flip to the next one.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's nice. But like in my head, I always have some idea. Like you're always keeping your own score.
Oh,
Yeah, you have a
You're
general
like, oh, I've gotten
idea.
I got like 4 or 5 of those. Maybe I lost one there, but like you have an idea. But like I'm always keeping score, so I try to not let it get to me. And then I'm always this goes back to me scoring all my rounds on UDisc. UDisc does show you. So
Yeah.
you know exactly where you're at the whole
Yes.
time.
Yeah.
So when I'm shooting a bogey free round at Como coming into 15, and I'm like, all right, I want to finish this bogey free. It makes me zone in a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so you think that knowing actually helps a little bit sometimes?
I think it depends on the scenario. Knowing
Yeah.
it depends who you are. Depends how you practice. If you practice by knowing all the time, I think you want to keep that same routine.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. No, because sometimes you need to know, like, hey, should I go for this?
Right, and then as you get later down the tournament, like I did that in a point series. It was a flex start tournament. I was up by 1 going into 17. I waited until they like hold out and then walked away, and I like just waited to see what the scores were. I was like, cool. If I par this and par the next one, I at least tie for the win no
Did you
matter
take
what.
the Bob
Yeah.
Buckley skip shot?
No, we were on whites. We were on white. 17
Still do
bond.
it.
You could. So
Even reds, too.
I bogey that hole. I throw into the just dead center of a pine tree. Can't get up and down.
No. Those pine trees eat your
I
discs,
bogey
too.
that hole. Those pine trees are brutal.
Yeah,
they are.
They don't. Yeah.
So then we go to the next hole. I again wait on it's a par 4. I wait on the tee. I'm waiting for them to put their scores in, waiting for them to put their scores in, waiting for them to put their scores in. They it wouldn't update. So I was like, whatever, I gotta throw. Shank that one OB, get up and down for par, tie for the win. And I was like, whatever. Like if I birdie, I win. So I was tied going into 18 and ended up being if I birdie, I win. I shank it out of bounds, take my par, whatever. I tie for the win.
Yeah.
I still got those are wins I don't like. I haven't won a tournament in a long time in my own head. I won like 3-point series events. I tied for the win in 3-point series events. None of those count in my head
Yeah.
Yeah. That
because
just takes the pressure
I
off.
choked some other way. Like I
You're
missed-
not. It's not something you're fully proud of. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it definitely.
Like if I had thrown that one good shot on 18 at Bond, I would have felt great. I would have won
Yeah.
that one. If
Yeah.
there's one putt I missed on 17 at JD, it would have been my 1,000 rated round too.
Oof.
Missed that putt, missed like a 20-footer on a really good day where I was putting good.
Not gonna
Yeah.
lie, when I threw my 1,000 rated round, you said something on hole 2. That's what motivated me to throw that 1,000 rated round. You said that, if I recall,
today, I'm gonna do it.
you are. I am 6 strokes behind you.
If you,
On hold to
you
the second
challenge
round?
them though. That's
Yeah.
how we
Was it the second
practice.
round?
It was second round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were coming off of hole 4. You just teed off on 4. I just teed off on 5, and you said, "I'm 6 strokes ahead of you." I said, "Okay," and then
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
shot
just
great.
shot lights out.
That's how we
Yeah.
practice though. We practice with that like the bragging rights, especially on this team.
It's
Oh, yeah.
massive.
Are worth more than gold.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how we. I mean, when we went to Maple Hill, me, you, and Justin's leaps and bounds ahead of us. But it was still,
Justin threw 5 down, and I was just like, "That's how you throw this course."
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
yeah.
Close to 1,000.
We're
No, that's
battling
1,000.
for bottom of the barrel at what, 10 over?
Something like that. It was not great, but like it, just that like this stroke is the difference between bragging rights and being on the other.
You
end
let me
of
back
bragging.
into that. You threw OB twice.
I know. I got it in my head.
on the water hole.
Yeah. Oh.
Which water hole? There's like 8.
The last one. It was it 14?
14, I think it is.
Yeah.
Water's all on the right-hand side of the hole.
Yes.
And then you got
It's
like,
on the road.
the walking path down the left, and then it's just
Sorry,
a
say
little.
that all again. Say the whole number.
14.
14. The water.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I know the whole. I
'Cause-
was at my rounds.
Because I explained.
I know the whole.
I explained the OB process to all of you, like what happens, and then where you
'cause
go down the
from
tee
gold,
paths.
you go to blue, and then you
Yeah,
go to the drop zone.
So me and Justin teed. We're fine. We're down there.
a bit of wind. was a bit of wind.
Shaky.
Which way? Yeah,
Don't worry
okay.
about it.
Would have
Doesn't
helped
matter.
him.
Would have helped him. Okay.
So he explained the OB process. Throws his first shot. Doesn't make it. So then we advance
Splash.
down to blues.
Yep.
Throw that shot. Doesn't make it.
Then you go to the
Then
drop
what is
zone.
it? Red or drop zone or
Drop
whatever
zone.
it is?
Yeah, and I threw it long and splashed again.
You take like a 7?
It was
8?
like a snowman.
I got a
think.
3,
Yeah.
and he gave me 5
Oh,
strokes back.
and they were waiting there just at the basket,
yeah.
just grins like, and yeah.
What'd
that's-
what'd you shoot at Maple Golds? Do you remember?
My first time there, I shot really well. The second time there, I shit
I can't
on my
remember.
leg.
It was hot that day too.
It was hot that day. We went in like June.
No,
Was it later, earlier?
earlier.
Is that
May.
the time
It
that?
was May.
It had to be May because that's when they came up before.
It just rained the day before too, so it was crazy
Yeah,
humid.
it
Because we
was
played
humid.
what's the course with the dam on it?
Hodges. Damn.
Believe.
There's so many damn courses.
That's
So many damn
damn-
courses.
so
What's
many
the other
damn
one
courses.
when we were down there.
what's that?
Is it 501? Like
501 we
501
played.
is great.
501's cool.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
501 we played.
Yeah, the course with the dam on it, you literally throw over.
You play
a
alongside a
Yeah.
dam.
and you
the whole
play
time.
alongside
Yeah.
of it, and that was
And we played that while it rained. That was on the day we went down there.
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
That was a good course, but
I missed out on a lot of these festivities because I was in
you'll get there.
Colorado, so-
Yeah, you'll get
But
there.
yeah, I got
there's
I got
plenty.
this year.
We
for all
got
that
we
now.
got the Silver Series up in Rochester for the
Yeah,
that's
Epsidoe.
big.
I'm excited for that.
And
For
then-
2 years.
and then Worlds
Worlds in
Vermont,
Vermont.
like a
Yeah,
week later.
I'm planning to go to that if I'm still living here
If.
at that time.
Yeah, a lot of our lives are
Up in
It's
the
up,
air.
yeah,
Next.
literally,
Yeah.
literally.
We're still in that phase where we want to figure out where we want to live in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I did want to kind of touch on the whole bragging rights thing that
Yeah.
D2DG has because, you know, it seems like very much like you guys are very close. Like that's what it screams, you know, because it's like that. You don't really make fun of people unless you love them, like that kind of thing. And at the
Yeah.
same time, it creates that competitive iron sharpens iron type thing that
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
need. Like you guys are all pretty good caliber, so it's like, what better way to do it than to pressure yourselves into doing it, like whether
Yeah.
it be through shit talking or whether it be through just general razzing. Like
Yeah.
it's because you guys know each other, you guys are at that comfort level with each other, and it pushes you to just do better, you know, because you want to beat Buckley, you want to be able to throw
yes.
these guys under the water,
The land.
like, you know.
Oh, that was a good. Remember when I challenged him at the land?
The land.
I moved up to MA1, and I don't think I was ready for MA1, but my only goal was to beat Buckley. And I remember him yelling on the very last hole that he bogeyed it, and I just finished the hole that you had to birdie, and I
Yeah.
did. And I just no, and then he came up and he's like, "That was a good game," and I was like, "Well, look who lost."
See, that's how I used to tell how my day was going. Was when Bob lived here, he would play open. So I would be like, in tournaments, I'd be like, "Oh, did I beat Bob in open? No, I did pretty good today." Like, would I not have last in open? No, I did
Yeah.
all right today.
Yeah.
We love you, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
he was on the previous episode.
Yeah.
yeah.
Everyone will have seen him
Yeah.
and got to meet him and understand.
He's just
He's a character.
wealth of
Oh, yeah.
knowledge on disc
He's a
golf.
wealth of knowledge.
100%,
He helps us
yeah.
constantly.
Oh, I mean, I've asked him for a form tip, and he's like FaceTime me, and then added Justin Gilbert to the call, and he's like, "All right, we're doing this tonight."
I asked him for a form tip last week, and he not only reviewed. I sent him a video. He not only reviewed my video, he then stopped working, went outside, filmed the video.
Was that in the group?
Yeah, that was in the group chat. He stopped what he was doing, went outside, and that's like ADHD Bob Buckley.
Oh, absolutely.
That-
I didn't want him to do that. I wanted him to just
That's
We're
also
gonna
why
get
he
that.
bought
Get to-
the phone bank for when he was working
Yeah,
at
he
home.
bought a phone bank, so he can put his phone in it, lock it. It won't open until
Till lunch.
until
Yeah.
lunch, and then he can look at his phone, and then he locks it back in there.
That's funny.
He said it too long one time when we were down there, and he had to put the phone bank in his car, turn his car on, and make phone calls through his car because he overset the timer.
That's really good. Hey man,
Your
whatever
own worst
works.
enemy, you know?
just Bob things, you know.
Whatever
gotta love that, man.
works.
Yeah.
Man.
But yeah, that's kind of just how this community is. Like, you know, Bob doing that for you. Like, when I was in Colorado, I was sending Sully and Kelsey videos, and
Oh,
you did
yeah.
the same thing, like, where you literally were just recording stuff in your living room or whatever.
Hour-long videos sometimes, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even... if you needed anything, I mean, even with you guys and Kelsey brought up before with the whole meeting at the LVC, but, like, I've hey, you got a tournament coming up this course? I did it for you when you had your first big tournament in Colorado, where I was
Yeah.
like, let's look at the course overlay. Let's look at your
Yeah.
bag, and like, let's see the type of shots that you need to make. Like, you're out there, I'm out here. I can only see what the satellite tells me, but you know, you tell me where I'm wrong, or if this shot looks a little different. But we'll go over it, and we'll put a game plan together of what you need to do, so you're ready to go.
Yeah,
And-
I mean, if you want to win, you got to be going out there and go prepare to win.
Absolutely.
You go do that. Go
Yeah.
play that. Like, I know not everyone can do it if you're driving 3 hours to a C tier.
Yes.
You're not going to be able to do it for a Saturday C tier.
No.
Like, that's hard. But if you're playing your local scene, like, you should be out there
Yeah.
5 times before that's like in the beginning of your season. You go. I'm going to play this course, that course, and this course. You go out there and you go practice those courses. You play a real round. You think about every shot. You got to want to win to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't just wish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't sit back and expect yourself to do it. Like, touching back on the LVC thing. Doing that 10-hour drive back.
Yeah.
Just picking apart these holes helped me so much. Because that was my first time going out there last year. And I would have been lost. Because they're not the best at describing holes when you're standing and looking at the tee signs.
Oh, and it's so different, especially because you watch the live coverage and you're seeing it in person versus seeing it on a camera. I mean,
That's the one thing I will say that I did like about the LVC is you throw the same shots the pros do.
yes, absolutely.
Kind of to be devil's advocate a little bit, I've actually found almost more success playing blind, like completely blind.
True.
That's a thing though.
Takes the pressure off
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah,
too.
you're just like, oh, that looks like a Stockheiser, and you just
Yeah,
throw
because
Stockheiser.
if you do something at that course and then you're not able to perform the same caliber, that
Yeah,
gets
then you get in your head.
more. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like I noticed that mostly out. You know, we went to Ledgestone and we played 3 different flex starts,
Yeah.
and I didn't do fantastic, but compared to what I felt like I was used to, like my scores ended up really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's because it was just no pressure, and you know there was a little bit of that aspect of like I had you guys on the card, so it was fun disc golf.
Oh,
but-
yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I didn't think about what was I supposed to do on this versus what I did. It was just what I did.
We played a lot there too because we
Yeah.
had to practice. All the courses are different for the divisions, so we
Yeah.
had 2 different divisions. We had to practice for MA3, MA2, and then we had the flexes as
Yeah,
well,
different
so that
courses.
you got in there. And then we just wanted to get more ratings under our belt, and
Right.
we were playing 2-3 courses in a day, coming back exhausted,
Yeah.
and I couldn't practice one of mine. And I think that was my first round.
What course didn't you get to practice?
I'll have to look it up, but
Did anyone play McNaughton?
MA3 did. So Kelsey and
Yeah.
Zubik.
Wasn't one of our wasn't one of our flex starts there? I thought one was at McNaughton.
What? Yeah.
First hole's big downhill,
Yes. I know.
Yeah.
I know which one you're talking about.
and then like 18's a big bomber downhill.
Yeah. The 18
No,
shot's so
I think
cool,
that's
too.
I think that's 6. No, I'm thinking of a different course. 'Cause
But I wish I could think of the course. I'll look it up in a second. But
So I played McNaughton when I was there.
yes, McNaughton's a really cool course.
McNaughton's sweet.
Yeah,
They call
yeah.
the locals call it McNasty.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've heard that from people there, and there's some really cool shots there.
I thought that course was really fun.
and it's a very good. I thought it was a good course for MA3.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because MA3 played the shorts, and when I was there, I played MA1. I played the longs. 'Cause
Yeah.
I practiced that with Santos, who played the shorts there.
Yep. But I played it blind, and I was
Yeah.
asking people.
That's a hard course to play blind.
Yes.
I don't remember which course it was that it was like hole 16 and I threw a crave and it was like kind of downhill, but I'd rounded, so it just kept going. I looked out there for probably 15 minutes looking for it. We had a card backup of 2 people or 2 cards like up at the tee pad. So this is a tournament, so I had to go re-tee and take the stroke.
Yeah.
After looking for my disc, panicking, running up this hill to go do it because it's like a windy hill to go up it. I pipe a servo in the perfect spot. But then because I run back down, I'm gassed, I'm exhausted, I'm sad at this point. And I completely missed my upshot,
Yeah.
3-putted. Like, it
That'll
destroyed me. I think it was a par 3, and I took a 7 or 8 on
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah, that re-tee penalty, that abandon your lie, that
Yeah.
sucks.
Oh, it's-
that hurts
That,
so
that
bad.
does. You also see that a lot at shore winds, especially on 16.
Sherwin's which course?
That would be
Well, I mean,
Windrush.
both of them are
Christine
along the
Windrush.
lake there, and you
Yeah.
sometimes have to abandon that
But
disc in the lake.
it's
Well, yeah.
it's the same shot that everybody pushes over the right hand OB
Yeah.
and wants
Oh, yeah,
to
and then
push and fade back in.
Yeah.
And
Is that
it's
the one that we were
always
just
crazy
talking
headwind.
is that the one that we were just talking about? Like someone took like a bunch of OB strokes on that hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
Probably.
Yeah. It gets
Because
crazy windy
you
there.
tee off.
too.
You only get about 5-10 feet off the tee before
Yeah,
you're going
before
over
you're going OB, and
and now
then
now you're essentially re-teeing.
Yeah. It just
I've
makes
seen
more
people
sense to
take
retee at that
8s,
point.
Yeah.
10s,
easily.
12s.
It was Kennel Lake that I played
Oh,
blind.
Kennel Lake
and
is
that's tough.
so fun.
Because it's a
Yeah.
private course.
It's a private course.
And you know, you can't get there that early. Thankfully they had it open for the players. But
Yep.
yeah, I played that one blind and I was asking like, where's the basket on this?
Yeah.
Thankfully disc golfers are awesome and we'll tell you exactly
Yeah.
where it is. But yeah, I shot neg 2 there and I had the hot round.
Oh, that's sick.
yeah, I had the hot
That's
round.
a
and
good
they
score.
scored
Yeah,
the
I remember
bars
you
wrong,
being
so it was
surprised
really
about that.
4.
Yeah.
And that I was frustrated because I missed I bogeyed the last 2 holes.
Yeah, you felt
and-
like you could have done a lot better, and you actually. I remember you coming back to the Airbnb like I shot the hot.
Yeah, I was
round.
so confused. I was like, I played it blind. Why do I have the hot round?
Yeah.
But that pressure was gone, and
Yeah.
I was like, I got nothing to lose because I don't know what I'm getting into. And
Yeah.
I think I fell just short of. It was a 978 right around or something
Mm-hmm.
like that. I was like, oh, those 2 strokes would have probably pushed me closer to
Yeah.
that 1,000 right around
Yeah,
because I was
yeah,
chasing one
90.
because you had your 1,000 right around, and I was like, ah,
Yeah.
right there. This would have been a cool place to get it.
Yeah, I definitely fall into that trap of like I play my home course a lot. I play Como Park. I played Como Park a lot.
We all do though.
Yeah.
Especially on Mondays.
Especially
Yeah.
Mondays.
Yeah.
Monday. Mike and Marcus mini Monday.
Can't wait for that
Yeah.
to come back.
Can't wait for
I've
that.
only been back like a month. No, it's been a couple months now. At times, a weird concept, but I've actually played Como. I feel like more than other courses. Obviously, ECP is the one I've played the most, just because I
our
currently
home
live
course.
like
Yeah.
6
Ease
minutes
of,
from it.
Ease
so.
of access.
We've got
But-
I've got like 200 rounds of that course.
Yeah, but like out of all the far
I know.
courses, I've been to Como like 3 times already, which
I
is
think Como,
crazy for me.
Como challenges you.
Yeah.
It looks
Como
simple, but it has teeth.
I was just gonna say, you were
Yeah,
just saying,
yeah.
it's
Well,
got teeth.
We talked about this with Gambini because he grew up. He like came into the game playing Como, so he's got that mentality of like you can just lose a disc at any time. Like
Yeah.
Como
Oh,
could
yeah.
just take one.
Oh, it is not beginner friendly sometimes.
I have like I designed my bag to be able to just replace discs easily. Like
Yeah.
like I always kept one stock Destroyer, one stock Firebird, one stock like Rock.
Speaking
Yeah.
of which, this is how I met Marcus before D2DG. I found your Nova.
Oh yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, I kept like just an in of a Nova.
Yeah.
I lost a Nova on like
I found it. I was like, oh, okay, cool.
yeah, he got it from the local squid, and then he pulls it out and he's like, "Yo, look at this sick Nova I found," and I was like, "That's my Nova." I asked the
It
squid
was,
if he
it
had
was
it.
like a week later.
Yeah,
I didn't know who you were.
yeah.
But I don't think you had your name. You had your name
No,
on
because
there.
it was a Nova.
But I didn't know who you were.
Odds are I wasn't gonna lose a Nova.
And then you left for
And then I-
Boston a week later.
Yeah, and then I moved away.
because of that.
Because I took his
Like this
Nova.
community now.
He's just like out of here.
These guys suck.
And then he
That's
came
my Nova.
back.
But that's a very good point though, where it's very important to get out of your home course. I mean, I see so many people.
Pinewoods guys?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Pinewoods is a good example where
Oh, yeah.
I gotta bird these holes because I do it all the time, and then you get to a different course and it's so different. And
Yeah.
you know, I can say I'm very fortunate that I've got tons of courses under my belt. I mean, I've traveled.
Yeah,
I've tracked off like 25 states.
Well,
on
you were in a
my-
fortunate career position where that allowed you to travel.
True.
A lot.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
2 weeks we played Where's Sully Going?
Exactly. Yeah, there was a time when I
That's
first
fun.
joined the team, and I,
mean,
was
you
like,
were
"Guess
in
what state I'm in?"
You were in Alaska
I was in
at one
Alaska,
point, and then
yeah.
you were back in like
I was back home,
You
and I
went
went to
back home. You
Charlotte.
went to Charlotte in like,
Yeah, you
in
went
like
from
1 week.
You went from Baltimore
Yes, I did a
to
tournament.
St. Louis to Alaska
Yes.
to Chicago, and I'm like,
That's a good story. Here, so I had like 2 weeks off of work, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with this time? I'm not going to sit around. And I signed up for a tournament in Baltimore because I could fly free for my job. I did a tournament in Baltimore. I just missed auto cut for amateur nationals and an MA3, which I didn't really care about. I just wanted to do a tournament. And then I flew from Baltimore to St. Louis and drove into Mattoon to visit a buddy, Peyton, who's another artist friend who designs discs for DFX discs, and he does his own stuff as well. Very, very good at what he does. But yeah, we
We'll
went and
put
played-
some designs up of
yeah,
his.
yeah. PMX Art, I believe, is his Instagram handle. But yeah, me and him met up, and we went to play some of the Ledgestone courses like Northwood. And then the next day, I just was standing in the airport, and I'm like, I'm gonna go to Alaska today. And I flew to Alaska and played a course at a school when I got there. And then first thing in the morning, I drove an hour north and played that course that what's his face designed. forgetting the name. I'll get to it later. But yeah, it was they designed it as for dynamic disc sponsor guy.
Oh, you don't mean EMAC.
EMAC, thank you.
Oh,
it was
yeah,
EMAC's course. Yeah, it wasn't fully completed, but it was gorgeous. It was a gorgeous course.
Yeah.
But then I flew back from Alaska to Chicago, played a course there, came home for a wedding, and then went down and caddied at USDGC and hung out with. Yeah, it was. I was exhausted by the end of it, but yeah,
Meanwhile, we're all at work.
Yeah, they're all.
Yeah, we're
yeah,
all
at
just
work.
sitting our
Getting
Yeah.
pictures,
I
pictures
was-
of Baltimore, St. Louis,
Oh, the
Alaska.
pictures of
I'm like,
Alaska
that's
were so
Oh
great.
yeah.
I'm like, it's raining outside right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
We were
all
playing
so jealous.
guess what state Sully's in the group chat.
It was awesome.
I still think Hawaii would have been nice.
I was originally thinking about Hawaii, and I had to choose. I didn't have to choose, but a friend was like last second bailed on going to Hawaii, and that's why I was like, I guess I want to check off one of these two states
Yeah.
that is really hard to get
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's peak fall. Screw it.
Yeah.
Right.
Go to Alaska.
Yeah, you're more likely to get back to Hawaii on a vacation than Alaska.
Yeah.
There's actually a comedian, Bert Kreischer. He loves disc golf, and he's been talking about pretty seriously. Like he's brought up multiple episodes where he wants to do like a big disc golf tournament with like $1 million pot out in Hawaii. And this man has big dreams.
Yeah, he's got
like,
the money.
Yeah.
I was
He
gonna
does.
say, yeah,
Paige Pierce
he's
involved with her.
yeah.
Yeah, she's big in Hawaii. She
But-
was-
Yeah, I think it'd be big for disc golf just because he's a whole other
Yeah.
like realm of entertainment.
Oh,
that
yeah.
could
Well, they
see
brought-
this.
That almost touches back to the whole Brody thing.
or I was just say the Ben Askren Funky Farms.
Yeah,
Funky
He
Farms.
did, he did a
Askren
pro
was
That is
am.
a funny course, though. I would love to
Yeah,
play
Funky
that.
Farms
Yeah.
is wild. But like Ben Askren did a pro am with like he got some like
Yeah.
and then like some known disc golfers like Casey DeSmith, the goalie for the Penguins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've met him. Real cool guy. Real cool guy. to
The
talk to.
pitcher for the White Sox,
Gonna say,
Dylan
another
Cease.
pitcher. Yeah.
Yep.
And then they had like Terry Miller was one of the celebrities, but like Terry Miller was like 1,000 rated at one point in his career. So like he
Oh,
was
does he
really
really
good.
count?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, getting back to the original, it's just that getting outside and experiencing different types of shots, and then
Yeah.
really just realizing that it's not about birdieing every hole. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
we can't all be Paul and go
Yeah.
18.
Or
to go
Simon.
18 down and set course records, or Simon, or yeah, I mean,
Any one of them.
We
Name-
wanna
name
be.
anybody in the top 25,
Ex-
50.
Yeah,
Yeah.
50, 100.
We will never. I mean, I can't say never, but I know for a fact I can never do that.
I would love to.
I would love to.
I would
yeah.
love
I'm gonna
to be
still.
able to,
I'm gonna
but-
continue striving to do that.
Yeah,
But that's just
absolutely.
my mentality
Mm-hmm.
about disc golf. This goes back to the I can drive a race car. Which if you've watched our podcast previously, I think I can drive a race car. I think you can sit me down in a
me in the
NASCAR car
seat.
and I can drive.
I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
I have faith in you, honestly.
Thank you.
Just
Yeah.
give me that energy.
We'll do that for a
like,
podcast.
You could
where
just
Yeah.
do it.
Can he drive a race car? And the clickbait title.
We'll get you a driving simulator.
yeah. I'll sit
And we'll
down.
green screen you in.
My work's got
We'll use
a
Santos'
sim
truck.
car,
Yeah.
so
We'll do that.
yeah.
Very nice.
But like, yeah, experiencing that, like, it's not all about, birdieing every single hole and just
Yeah.
experiencing different types of shots, and it gives you different ideas on how to approach a hole and seeing different
Yeah.
shots. I mean, I've played with Dan, I played with Rebecca Cox, I've played with like other pros, and
Yeah.
I see them doing this on some of the holes, and I'm like,
No trees in the sky.
What are you looking?
Go
at
up and
there?"
over 'em.
Yeah,
And I'm like,
exactly.
and I'm sitting here. What tree am I
Yeah,
going to hit
the
today?
fairway in the sky.
Yeah.
There's no trees in the sky. Yeah, like,
Yep.
and that's how you get your knowledge, and
Yeah.
And
it's you can study online all day, but you got to get out there and experience it, and then it affects your mental game. It affects your
Even
decision.
some of your
Yeah.
local pros. Even like
Yeah.
Sam being here tonight.
Yeah.
Watching Sam play a course, he picks it apart.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
very, very technical.
Yeah.
He's not a bomber, but he's very technical.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He'll beat you.
Oh,
just
yeah.
because he'll put it
Yeah,
450 down.
Just
Down the
even
fairway.
400 just straight.
straight.
400 straight. That's hard to do.
Yeah. The straight shot is like one of the hardest shots. in
Thank
disc
you.
golf.
Santos doesn't think so. I think the straight
Seriously?
shot is one of the hardest shots in disc golf.
How many times have you seen Santos throw a straight shot?
How many times have you seen Santos throw a straight shot over 300?
Not often.
Not
Love
often.
you, Santos.
Do you
But
count like
need-
hyzer flips that flip up to like?
If you can make the disc go straight
Yeah.
for 350 feet, I count that as a straight shot. I don't care how
Yeah.
you do it.
I don't even think
You
I
can flip it
I've
up. You
got
can
like
turn it over.
300-ish, but
Yeah.
yeah, I can push 300, but even then, I'm still like,
Like with my perfectly seasoned swords that I used to throw in my bag, I could get like 400 on a rope.
Yeah.
That disc.
He really doesn't think he thinks that's easy? That's crazy.
Santos thinks a straight shot is easy.
I spent the beginning of I was like, I have to master this because if I master this, it's gonna put me far.
Yeah.
And I still work on it.
Yeah, I
it's
think you-
still.
Hole 5 at Como.
Hole 5 at Como. I want to go there.
Dead straight tunnel
Yeah,
shot.
it drives me insane.
Yeah.
I throw
Yeah.
a forehand usually because I'm so bad at throwing a backhand straight shot.
Yeah, I just got my second ace, and that was a dead straight shot. And
Was it
I was
4
like,
Pinewoods?
it was hole 4 Pinewoods. Yeah, it was 225 feet, and I threw my RPM 2E great disc. It's kind of like a -1. Was it 3 -1 0? So it just flipped up.
Like a Mako 3.
Like
kinda.
they go, yeah, and I just tossed it and it flipped straight up and one continued straight. I got the ace. I was excited, but in the back of my head, I'm like, how did I throw that?
Yep, I thought it was so perfect.
Although I will touch on the course that we don't talk about is Chain Biters down in South Dated.
I don't think.
I don't know if you've ever played
That's
there.
a fun course. Private
Hole
course.
2 is literally a tunnel about from this
Yes.
computer to the edge of here. And it is just trees.
Just trees.
Like, it's
You wanna throw
this far
straight?
between trees.
Go to that hole and see how many discs you can get past.
Yeah.
200 feet.
Yeah.
And it's literally, yeah, like he said, it's not wide, and then the trees are stacked very close to
Very
one another.
tightly, yeah, so you can't go out
And
around.
if you're local in Buffalo and you can get the time to get out there, the owner's awesome. He puts so much work into that course, and he changes it per season and does cookouts, and
That's
like
awesome.
he'll come out and introduce himself to you, and he's just excited that you're there, and it's a beautiful property,
Absolutely.
and it's a beautiful course, and there's not even 18 holes. He's added extra holes.
It's 24, 27.
Yeah, there's like a
Wow.
base
That's
layout.
cool.
And then there's a warm-up putting area. It's like a mini course.
Yeah. He just
Around the
really
barn.
cool.
he just loves the sport, and he's like, I
If you-
can't.
if you ever
do it
got time,
myself.
Yeah, I
Go
guess
down
I
there with
gotta
you guys.
put that on the list for this year.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, yeah.
absolutely.
We can
Definitely
road
road
trip.
Biters
I'll
for
just take a
sure.
trip out there.
Yeah, that and then the land is also
The land is
The
also
land, yeah, we love
super
it.
fun. That one.
There should be tournaments at the land this year, though.
There's
right?
there's
There will be
usually
honeybee. There's
the
usually
honeybee.
one.
What is it? Honeybee
Four.
4 this year?
Yeah, there was 3 bees on the
Yeah,
stand
because that's
last
the
year.
first one. That's right. Yes. That's a fun. Yeah, we do.
The land is super fun. They do.
You get to camp there.
Glow
Camp
round
there.
camping.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, the glow round is
Super fun.
awesome.
The glow, it's like night and day. Glow, you can never hit a tree.
Yeah. Go play it.
Yeah.
It's wild.
100%. Yeah.
Daytime, then you're looking at it the next day and you're like,
How did I hit that?
how did I even get a disc down this fairway
Yeah.
without hitting a tree?
Oh yeah. You go throw your best round in glow, you can't see a damn thing, and then you get there and
Then you
your
throw a
worst
plus
round
8.
in the tournament.
Yeah.
In a tournament.
Yeah, it's wild. We did that at Newfane too. We played that
Yeah.
glow round, and you just sauce one right through the gap.
Yeah.
You don't hit anything.
Yeah.
Someone throws it way too high. It doesn't hit a single branch. You're like, how did it?
And then you know the trees are there because
Yeah.
we've played that.
You play the
course.
course.
Yeah.
You know the trees are there. It's wild.
Absolutely.
Yeah, go play a glow round in the woods. It's insane.
It is nuts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bring friends too, though. Bring sure
Yeah.
you bring friends along.
Yeah.
We support your safety and stuff.
Or even talk to your local club so you can get a.
Yes, if you
Yeah,
run a
good.
glow.
This-
We were lucky
Glow
enough to have
round.
Newfane. It was private.
The private property.
Yeah.
You would run it.
I hope we can get one.
Back in Lehigh Valley, they run Friday dubs at South Mountain, and then they run it year round. So when the sun goes down, they just run glow dubs,
Whoa.
and then it turns in. So then, halfway through the year, they're just like, hey, make sure you bring some glow discs.
Yeah.
They do it. They do glow. I don't know if they still do it, but in Vegas, in 2021 when we went, they had a 9-hole course and they had 2 different pin locations, so it'd make it an 18.
Yep.
And they had an actual golf course that was there, but they turned the lights on.
Yeah.
They had these awesome overhead lights, like stadium
I've
lights
seen
that they
that.
would turn on, and they would do random draw, glow doubles
Nighttime
there.
stuff, yeah.
Well, that was a wild experience
Yeah.
itself. But yeah, glow rounds are just it adds more fun to it.
It really does.
really
Like
does.
the glow round we did in the, I think it was just some random course we found, but it was for someone's birthday around Ledgestone.
It was my birthday.
Yeah, it was your birthday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they planned. It was, and then they all used
Just like little egg
my
lights. and-
reactors, my Kitsune reactors.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
We
I
had
have
tons
one
of
of
pictures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I know I didn't bring.
I'll
any
put a
of them,
picture.
but-
Don't
yeah.
worry.
But yeah, I had a bunch of misprint. Variant. Excuse me. Kitsune glow reactors, and they all pulled out the discs, and they were like, "We're doing a glow round for your
Yeah.
birthday." Yeah,
That's
that
super
was
fun.
that was awesome. It's a little 9-hole course, and shout out to Lacey and Dan and Justin and everybody that planned it. And yeah, they all got these little lights, which they sent me home with. I have like 1,000 of these.
Yeah.
Do you actually still have those?
I still have them. They
Why?
light up my stairwell.
Is it because we left them in the rental car?
You all put them in my suitcase. Yeah, you left them in the rental car,
Yeah.
and I ended up with me.
When
But
you don't
yeah,
wanna
we
clean
hung
up
them on
your
the
stuff?
basket,
Yeah.
and that's what we did. And there was
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd have like one on the little T-pad sign, just so you had
Yep.
some light there, and then one on the basket. And
Yeah.
I kept forgetting them on every
I think
hole.
Dan
you know.
obliterated, and Dan Brandon out front. They obliterated us, but it was still
Yeah.
a ton of fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely try and organize a glow round. Check with your local municipalities, your local club, figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super fun.
I'm really hoping that Tim and if he can get one together, or
I gotta figure out where,
or if we
but
can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we gotta try and get
There's
one.
so many
Now that we
ways
don't
you
do
can make it
fans
work
stuff.
too.
Doug's got the lights on the baskets down in.
The lane?
No, Doug at Hawks.
Oh, Doug Hawks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Hawks
got-
is fun and glove.
Oh,
Hawks would be
that's
fun
a
for
good
glove.
one. That would be a good one for
That's
glove,
another
too.
course. It's all wooden.
It's super wooded, super technical,
I might throw my
super
last
short.
round there now with the new pins.
Maybe. Their back course should be done hopefully this year too.
I hope so.
We're
I
hoping.
really do.
I refrained from saying it in a previous
I
podcast.
know.
I've been hearing the back course is almost done for 7 years.
Yeah.
But it's almost done this time, man.
I
It reminds me of a campground that
Almost
I'd go
there.
to.
the last update I heard was they're working on hole 2.
Oh, nice.
That's honestly just a little
Hey.
triggering because like that just
Yeah.
seems on par for being a Bills fan. Like we're gonna make it to the
Yeah,
Super Bowl for
exactly.
7 years in a row. Like,
Obviously, I know why Doug has ran into some issues with like zoning and things like that with his neighbors, like just
Yeah.
some really dumb scenarios that he's ran into
Yeah.
that have made it
Oh,
hard.
my God.
But
So-
yes, and we all understand and love and
Yeah,
support.
I
It's-
want him to. I wish I could do more to help because I would love to help him design that
Oh,
course, but
yeah.
it's got to be his thing.
Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
I don't want to take away from Doug designing another one of Doug's courses.
Yeah.
because
Which most of them are. Around
which
here.
a lot of them are around here. Yeah, a lot of the Erie County courses are just done by Doug Opiella, and he does an awesome job, I think, designing courses.
Oh, yeah.
what courses like particular like maybe that you know that I've played or
Como.
something?
Chestnut.
Really? Okay.
He had a
Yes.
hand in Chestnut.
He
The
had a
Ridge,
hand in
he had a hand in
Chestnut,
Chestnut.
yeah.
I was thinking the Flame was Chad Adams and
I
others.
wish I would have got to play that.
Yeah, I never
course.
had to play the Flame.
I think Como is just really well designed.
Oh, I wish the
like
flame would come. I know. Oh, I remember hearing about that. I was like, what? I
Yeah,
wanted
it's
there to
only
be two
around for
courses.
Very.
It
short
wasn't even
time,
fully
yeah.
finished when they had the baskets and
Yeah.
Yeah,
they
they yanked the idea
hands.
because of what safety.
Yeah,
They said
around.
safety.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was.
We'll talk about that
Tough,
later.
yeah. That's a good story to
It's a
go
good story,
over,
yeah. Well,
really.
we're gonna get Chad on we're gonna get a video with
Oh,
Chad soon,
perfect.
or on the podcast
Nice,
soon.
nice.
Because Chad's, I love Chad. I worked with him
Mm-hmm.
to design another course down in Hamburg, well, right around the corner from where we are right now.
Oh, Revive, right?
At Revive, yeah. I
Yeah.
worked and I helped him
course.
design the front, and they worked on the back just last week or the week before.
Oh, really?
So the back 9 we're gonna start cutting in this year, hopefully.
Nice.
nice.
So that's really
That's
awesome.
exciting. Yeah.
More courses. We like to hear about that.
Yeah.
Is it gonna be just a standard par 3 or is it gonna
No,
be like?
oh
Oh
man.
no! Yeah, we gotta
If you
take you to
if you
It's
think
tough.
so, when I heard this idea, it was like oh, it's at a church. It's gonna be a 9-holer. I'm like, oh, cool. It'll be a little pitch and putt in the woods. This thing has teeth.
No.
Yeah.
This course will eat you alive. I've never shot under par.
We spent 30 minutes
Really?
looking for one disc.
Yeah, and it's new.
was
It's not
new.
thinned out enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Worked
like,
in.
even if it was, there's like a 400-foot par 3 in the woods.
Yeah.
Where like, I know Kistner has birdied it. I know Mark Kistner's birdied it once. He
I was
tooed
close
it.
to it when we played. Yeah.
But like, this is some real like Charlotte,
Yes.
New England disc golf.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
stuff's
absolutely.
legit.
Yeah,
even
just bring
even
some of that
Dan
over
played it,
here.
and he was like,
Yeah, I had Dan go out and like walk
"I
it
thought we were
with
playing
me.
a 9-hole.
Yeah,
What happened?"
yeah, you were with me that time.
Yeah.
It's wild. It's such a fun course. If you're in the Western New York area, don't pass over Revive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Check it
it's
out.
worth checking out.
Yeah, we'll have
Yeah.
to check that out.
Oh,
soon.
and they were the church themselves. They were
Oh,
like,
they're
"Do you
awesome.
love the course?" We're like,
Yeah,
"This
I
is
love
warm
those guys.
welcome."
Yeah, the guys in the church are really nice. They, we ran a fundraising tournament. We got a lot of the locals, like a lot of the churchgoers,
Yeah.
came for their first tournament, their first time playing, and it went
That's big,
super
too.
smooth. It was
Yeah.
awesome. I'm
That's
so
awesome.
glad to do it.
Yeah, but it definitely, like you said, it has teeth, and it's being worked in, and it's just, that definitely, especially coming around the 18 hole, I'm excited
Yeah, it's gonna be
for
fun.
that. That's gonna be awesome.
That makes it, 4 courses in 3 years? I think with Bond opening
With
3
new
years
ones,
ago?
Bond,
Bond,
Royalton,
Royalton,
Revive, and what's your fourth?
Gargoyle.
Gargoyle, and then there's the other one, that the 9-holer that down even farther south. That
Yeah.
What's it called?
I can't think what it's called though.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. I'll put it.
I don't know because I'm still new.
Yeah,
to it
you're
again.
still new
I'm
here,
learning
yeah.
all this stuff. Like
Yeah.
I feel like this time next year I'll be able to
Yeah,
have
you'll know.
these same conversations
Yep.
where I
Yeah.
understand exactly what hole.
Well, that's the thing. Is so I guess we'll go into it. Ethan, how long have you been playing?
I started 2019, like
Okay, so
late
that's-
2019.
3 years ago.
Yep.
Basically.
Yeah.
Early 2016.
I would say I really started in 2020.
Okay.
I was a COVID disc golfer.
I'd
That's
say-
for sure.
yeah.
I'd say I started playing in 16.
Yeah, 'cause I did the
started
one
taking
disc
it
wonder.
seriously in 20.
I was
Yeah,
one
Yeah,
disc
I mean,
wonder
same for me. Like I
5
mentioned, I
years.
just
Yeah.
started taking it seriously at LBC last year.
Yeah.
So
I was a Ridge Rat.
realistically, I feel like I've only been playing a year.
I was a Ridge Rat. I started playing in 2014.
It's beautiful there. It's beautiful there.
But that was
Let's
just
keep
throwing
passing.
thumbers at the ridge with my buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I started
yeah.
taking it serious in maybe 2016.
Yes.
Yeah.
So like,
Oh, and
well,
this turn. Wow.
as you'll Yeah, that was when I got my first sword. I found a sword and I was like, ooh, it goes a little bit straight and left. This is
Why you
cool.
love it so much.
Yeah.
I turned that thing over in that doubles video last year.
Yeah. No,
Oh.
you got some touch to the
Immediately.
sword. It's great.
I watched that clip recently of me using your Flippy Destroyer.
Yeah,
Like,
that
what
was-
does it
that
do?
was
And
awesome.
you're like, just throw it.
That was awesome. I rewatched that video. I'll put a card.
Immediately
Yeah.
dumped.
I'll put a card to it. That video is
Yes.
great.
He'll FaceTime, or he'll call me sometimes and he's like, yo, I'm watching the video right now. I'm like, hold on, I want to watch the video too. That was so much fun.
Like, you just, as you get more experience, you just get to, you reevaluate the things you did before.
Yeah.
And it gets really fun to be like, oh, I remember when we played this course this time, and then you shoot it again, you shoot even
Yeah.
better, and you
Yeah.
just feel awesome. Like,
Yeah.
coming out of winter every year, I text my buddies from college, like, when we would come back from, like, I'd go home from college, play my home course, play Como Park hole 1, rip one, like, 30 feet past where I usually get to. And I'm like, dude, coming out of winter, I just bomb sometimes. Or coming home from college, I'm like, I just crush. It was awesome. It's such
Yeah.
a cool feeling.
Yeah,
I really had high expectations for myself, like coming back from Colorado, because I was fighting 6,000 feet of elevation.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
came down to
yeah.
600. But now everything's going to the right. And
Yep,
it's
everything just
like
hivens
everything
out.
that I've used like physically
everything
to
turns over,
compensate
yeah.
for- yeah. Like I even realized that I've had to rework my form because I had a little bit of rounding in my form because everything is so overstable in Colorado that I need to do that just to get some flex.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and it was working, but I was literally just throwing a Band-Aid over an open
Yep,
wound.
yeah,
you
that's
know?
what happens.
Absolutely.
I'd love to get up there and just play around.
I'd
wanna
love to
s-
see what my
I
discs
want to
do.
see what my
It's-
disc
I
in Buffalo
can bring you
would
guys
do
some
up there.
good courses. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, because I
Beaver
went to
Ranch.
go ahead.
Yeah, Beaver Ranch
Beaver
is a
Ranch is on
phenomenal.
my list.
Yeah.
I would love to play.
Dude, I got an ace on with my glitch. On
Really?
Yeah.
Is it a glitch at Beaver Ranch?
Glitch.
Let me tell you, they have a pitch and putt and a
Yeah.
real course, and it was the pitch and putt.
Okay.
Nothing over like
An ace is an
150.
ace,
It was like a
bro.
98-foot ace. or
Okay, it's not
whatever.
an ace.
No,
As,
listen.
as we talk
it was
about,
an ace.
We're not talking about Justin here. We're talking about me.
Tee to basket. It's in the basket.
Yeah.
Thank you.
anything under 200 feet is not an ace.
Well,
I mean, I say with skill level because there's the one hole in Vegas where it's like 70 feet.
It's 78 feet.
Is it 78 feet? Yeah.
We emptied our bags at this.
What?
There's
Yeah.
it was a course.
I think Paul has a video that he
Was
does.
it?
Where he plays
Is
at it.
it's not Sunset Park, is it?
Not
No,
Sunset.
no. Because at least he got it first. They said something.
No, she got first hits at Piccoli Ranch.
It wasn't so.
I almost killed a lady at Piccoli Ranch.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wild.
So I threw a shot, and it was just me and Michael Kelsey. I threw a shot, and I rounded. I think it was an insanity or something. I just kept holding that line, and there's a lady walking down the path, headphones on. Kelsey goes, "Watch out!" She looks up and ducks, and it just flies right past her.
Yeah, that course. You check out our video.
That's a fun.
We just played.
I love
Yeah.
that course.
The
It,
course
it really
is
was fun.
wild.
I'd like to play
Yeah.
that now with where I'm at because
yeah.
it looks so fun. Like just rewatching that
Yeah, that
GTDG
video.
video, I
Oh
was
yeah.
like,
Even
wow.
watching you guys play that, I was like,
It was
know,
a fun little course.
even with the yeah, it's fun.
If I can remember what the course name is, I'll send it to you later.
Yeah, I'll put it in the.
But it's like this little, it's like a pitch and putt course. It's got a few longer holes, but nothing really over
It's
like
nothing over
300.
200.
No,
Yeah.
300, I'd say.
You think this is
Yeah, because there's a few of the one that's uphill and then goes down to the drainage area.
yeah, you're right.
That's uphill and then,
Correct.
But there's a hole. It's 78 feet. You're up on top by like the sidewalk.
Oh, you're just like.
And then you're
jumping.
throwing it, you're throwing it down, and you got the like a ridge line here, and then it's just a bowl.
Yeah.
We dumped our bags at it. I think we hit metal. I think maybe 6 times.
Yeah, we did it my first year there, where I remember me and Kelsey, him and I unloaded our bags 5 times. On the 5th time, I stopped and I'm like, well, this doesn't count as an ace anymore. And
No,
I'm like,
no.
what am I doing? Like,
He
I was still
actually-
6 months into the sport, but I'm like, what am I doing? This isn't an ace. What?
Yeah, me and him went to that course the one day, and he did the same thing. Emptied his bag 3 times. I'm
Yeah.
standing on the other side, just throwing them back, because I'm like, he's gonna keep going.
just wanted it,
It was
yeah.
like 60, 70 discs deep, and he finally got
did
it. He's
it.
like, I'm good.
Yep.
He texted you.
He
He's
let
like, I
it
got
go
it on my
finally.
first one. Yeah.
I'm trying to finish my round.
Yeah. I mean, jokingly, I say any ace under 200 feet doesn't count.
Yeah.
They count. They only count if they're first throw off the tee in a scored round.
Yeah.
I could agree
Which
with
I
that.
did score that round.
Yeah. First off the
Yeah.
tee in a scored round.
Yeah.
That's an ace.
But
Yeah.
going to Colorado and because I brought
You
you
played
back.
Widefield.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
played. Yeah, and I threw my Peka Peka, which is like 9.5 -3-1, and I watched it like just barely flip up, and I'm like,
Yeah. Here's to give you an idea. I was throwing 157 plasma inertias just to get a little bit of turn.
I don't know what inertia is. I'll
It's a 9.5 -2-2.
yeah,
okay.
yes.
Yeah.
So
up here,
why throw that over an insanity?
Because this was before the fission insanity, and for me at my arm speed, the fission insanity is the first one
Fission
out.
Insanities?
Yep.
Yeah,
They're really
it's
good.
the first one out of the box that I can actually like throw and get turn out of it. Like,
Okay.
I mean, especially with my bad experiences with the Halloween glow insanity, like those things are just meat hooks.
Those things, they're such a debate.
Watch the podcast that came out today, where I talk about them not being meat hooks and you guys not being able to throw.
I said they
Wow.
weren't meat hooks because I threw mine. I got so much turn out of it, and then I watched so many people online. They're like, "These are meat hooks. These are meat hooks," and I'm like, "I don't know.
I feel
You
like
got a bad
it might
I
be
feel like
just-
I threw mine pretty straight.
Yeah.
I thought everyone I threw was
You
straight.
just can't bitch it. You gotta
Well,
give it.
you gotta give it
I
something.
mean, that only mildly hurts, but okay.
Again,
You've grown. Come on.
Hey, remember
yeah.
we talked about a little bit of toxic, getting
Yeah,
on each
yeah,
other.
yeah.
Don't bitch it.
Yeah,
but
no,
to-
absolutely.
Throw it. Trust
To
yourself.
be fair, I haven't thrown it since LVC because I remember I think I
Yeah.
got it from Santos at LVC,
Yes,
and I'm like,
you did.
I'm gonna love this, and I
and then it's
didn't.
just stable. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
try it again now. You'll get a little turn out of it. I
Yeah.
bet.
I just did that recently where I was teaching my buddy Josh, and I was trying to get him to learn some putters and mids because he's lacking a little bit of that feel. That's tough to find.
It's
that.
hard.
Especially like even throwing putters, but not like even putting putters. It's tough to find your putter. But working on control and seeing where his form is at and stuff, and throwing putters and mids to kind of carve lines. And I picked up some discs that I haven't thrown since I first started it, and I'm like, these fly so much. Like I used to think they turned over, and I'm like, wait, no, this doesn't turn over. I turned over. Like this is my fault. Wow, I've grown so much. Like, I'm like,
Yeah,
"You should
Those
put this back in
realizations
the
are
bag."
really good too.
They're
like,
fun.
That's kind of the fun of disc golf.
That's the
is
addicting
Yeah.
part.
going
Yeah.
back and realizing like that's really what got me is I noticed just a lot of progression just in that week that we were in Vegas.
Yeah.
And it wasn't anything like drastic compared to now, but it was at that moment relative to what I was doing, it was big. And
I-
one thing I can say for a lot of amateurs is I think going out and caddying for people is big too,
Yeah.
because like you get the experience of like you were saying, experiencing different shots. You don't always have to throw them to experience them as long as you understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
And then it's also another thing that to do for casual rounds too, because when I play with you and Kelsey, I'll walk up and why are you throwing that?
Yeah.
Not because I'm questioning you, but because
Yeah. What? Yeah.
I did it to Casey Hanmeyer when he's a Canadian disc
I
golfer.
see,
Him and Cam Zanini
Yes.
came down for USCGC, and he asked me if I wanted a caddy for him. I was like, yeah, but I'm going to ask you questions about why you're throwing what you're
Yeah.
throwing. And I learned a lot, and shout out to Cam Zanini. Not Cam, Cam, yeah, Cam's awesome. But Casey Hanmeyer, yeah, he's he was happily telling me what he was doing. And
Yeah,
it's
'cause-
such a big thing, I think, to experience what, you can watch what pros are doing, but like go to the people in your local, and ask them, hey, like, why are you throwing what you're throwing?
Yeah.
I mean, just get that explanation and, or just even, just peek over, see what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's
I'm
just such a
big
learning.
about that in tournaments. Like, hey, what'd you throw there?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
and I
I'm
think
curious
yeah.
what they did.
I'm,
I think if you are a caddy, it's good for you to be like to make sure you're doing your 1,000 rated caddy skill thing, because
Yeah.
it's not
The
only is
1,000
it
rated
helping
caddy right here.
you learn what to do, but it's also helping the player be confident in what they're doing. Now
Yeah.
they're actually able to explain it. They're not like just thinking about, well, maybe I should be throwing this. They're like, no, I'm going to throw this Tesla right here because it's going to go up,
Yeah.
it's going to hook in. You have an idea, so it's helpful for both of us.
Yeah, and you don't have to throw the exact same disc or something.
that
Yeah.
idea.
What can I do that can match
Yeah.
what that
Yeah,
result had?
exactly.
He's throwing his overstable distance driver. I'll throw my
Yeah.
overstable 10 speed.
Exactly.
For the same
you
idea.
kind of take the general form of what they're doing and why, and apply it to your skill level, because we are all at different skill levels and disc choices, whatever the case may be.
Absolutely. That, and I think going back and looking how far you've come.
Yes.
I shout out to Josh again. I was like, go back and look at your scores. Even
Yeah.
you, going back and look at how much you've grown. And seeing that, like, because it's so
Yeah.
easy to get like, I'm stuck on this and I can't
Yeah.
get this form
Yeah.
to work correctly, or and you plateau, and go back and look and be like, dude, last year you were throwing 10 over at this course and now you're -2.
Yeah.
Like that's you've come leaps and bounds, and it brings you out, and it reverse humbles you. It gasses you up, and you're like,
Yeah, and then you get that drive to be like, all right, I'm gonna go out again.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna work on this and shoot even better.
yes,
Yeah. Like,
absolutely.
It's very important as an amateur to take the small victories into account, because they
Yeah.
are just as big as the
100%.
big ones. Like,
100%.
even if you missed your 60-foot putt, but you only missed it a little bit left, and you're normally missing way right or way left, like that's a big victory for you because now you're you're almost there,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah,
Or
for sure.
even just small things like when one of the flex starts we had in Ledgestone, I had that hammer throw around a tree. It was like a 150-foot
Yeah.
hammer throw with a Tesla. Throw it in.
You would have thought
That's
you got
sick.
first place. It was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
genuinely.
we were all
that
cheering.
was so big for me.
Yeah.
like,
Mine came without even being around. It was LVC. It was the pyramid.
Yeah.
From the top
Yeah,
basket
yeah,
at
exactly.
LVC.
Yeah.
I was on top of the world. I played like crap at LVC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I hit that top basket. I won a
Made it
basket.
all
I was
worth
like,
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's great.
Got a nice innova.
Even in
28 disc catcher.
Yeah.
tournament
great.
rounds, I mean, at
With 32.
Lakeside Life is good last year. I think hands down, I think it's one of the best tournaments still.
Said light is not.
Lakeside. Yes, hole one should not have that middle road BOB, but
Tough.
No.
but yeah, I was fighting for a playoff.
Yeah.
And we thought Reed was in the tree.
That was
We
funny.
were yelling at Reed, but
Oh my god.
yeah,
Yeah,
That
we already told the story.
yes, but
That was brutal.
I mean, I had the weight of the world on me trying to come back on two because I screwed up my shot and I made that putt.
Yeah, you drained it.
I drained
remember
that
hearing
putt. And then had to go to the next hole, and the kid had a good toss. But afterwards, I was like, I mean, technically, I tied for first. You know,
Right.
I do in mental gymnastics to make it better for myself. But
No,
really,
you
it was a
did
victory.
shoot that round, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
a 3-hole playoff is huge at that course.
I still don't understand how that kid shot got through.
Dude, that shot.
I was the spotter on that hole.
Oh, all of us were
And
like,
it fit a gap that was that
Yeah,
big.
that hole's hard.
it's
Hole three on Windrush is a tough little quick flex.
It's
Yeah, it's quick.
literally-
And if you're early, you're left
dead.
and I mean Justin lost one of his
Yeah.
yeah.
was it
I forgot what it was.
Chariot, pilot,
Something. It was
stabilizer.
well, because he launches like drivers down those wood
Yeah.
shots.
Yeah.
He doesn't.
it was either
Predator.
a buzz. It might have either been a buzz or it would have
Buzz,
been like
predator.
no, it wasn't a predator.
No, it wasn't Predator.
It was definitely like a mid to putter.
Okay.
But
Okay.
you kick left, you're in Lake Ontario.
Yeah, you are.
And if you're
you're
right,
on.
you're in jail. There's
Yep.
no getting out of the
Yeah,
right
It's a
side.
tough hole.
It's almost like you want to just roll a putter down the
Yep.
fairway
And-
and,
yeah,
then
it could
pitch
work.
up and take a three.
Because
Yeah.
it goes
Yeah.
straight, and then it's got to make a quick turn, and then continue straight again. And
Yeah, it's hard.
it's
a
doable.
hard hole.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
it's when you walk up to it, and you're like, and especially because there's barely a tee pad on there because it's next
Yeah,
to
it's
the
falling
lake.
away.
Crepid. and-
Yeah. At least you get a reward with the next one, where you just launch into a field
Yeah,
and
I
you
love
take your
that.
frustrations
That
out on
sounds
that
like a
field.
Yeah, it sounds like that hole is very much like, you know, you can have that scared money don't make none
Mm-hmm.
attitude, but at the same time, safe golf,
Sometimes you
smart
could
golf.
just lay up and take your three and move on.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes you
learning
just
to
gotta
take
do
your
it.
medicine is also huge
Yeah,
too. Like,
you'll get some looks, but just take it.
Yeah.
I know Santos' thing is always run it. and
Yeah, but
There's a time and a place, especially in a
Exactly.
tournament.
yeah, I mean
No-
today at the sorry, go ahead.
Know when you want to take this
Yeah.
30-foot putt that 10 feet behind the basket is water.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you
Absolutely.
need that birdie desperately, or can you get it on the next hole or in the next two holes?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
take the par and move on.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that sentiment, but
And even at Como today, like I can't remember what hole it was where you throw up and then we played the long basket where it was over the water.
Oh,
10.
hole 10.
Yeah. I was probably like 30, 40 from the actual line where the water starts, but I was like, I don't know if just the way the lie was. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna take my medicine. I just pitched a putter.
Yeah.
up
yeah,
and
I've done
just-
that so many
Oh,
times in that
especially on
hole.
that hole. I mean,
Yeah.
I birdied that. Like, I had a clean birdie on that for the first time today. I was over the moon.
It was
about
good.
It.
Dude,
I didn't lay
so
up.
good.
I did not lay up.
I
went over
typically
the
don't
wall.
lay
You
up. I
never
just
lay
rip
up,
something in.
No, not on that hole.
There's a way to get there from anywhere.
always. I split the tree.
Yeah.
and
Yo, yeah, you
I
threw
took a
your
four.
Firebird, and you were the farthest back.
My Firebird was about this far off the ground.
Yeah.
And it was scooting though. Like it would have been in position. There was just a fallen branch in the perfect spot.
perfect.
I hit this branch going, I don't know, 100 miles an hour. Took all the forward momentum of the disc. Didn't move. The disc just stopped.
stopped.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
It was so loud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was that wet, loud thump.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And but you still recovered that shot so well.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I took a par on.
Yeah.
I was
yeah,
way
as long as you
back.
get across in two, you'll par.
I went over from where I stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, screw it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, because you were still a little behind me, and you're just like,
I was like, yeah, don't do whatever I do.
yeah. But I remember looking
Yes.
for the basket, and you're just like,
Do as I say,
watch
not as
this.
I do.
Yeah.
You'll get
You
there.
release the
soon.
photon, you're like, I flipped it.
I was so afraid of hitting that tree and going in the water.
Oh, I
Yeah,
know.
and the
Yeah.
trees on that hole hang over the water, so
Yeah,
like you're
they're
getting
deceptive.
knocked straight down.
Yeah, this time of year is the only time you can just freely rip
Maybe
on
get
it.
through, yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, before was it Loco at the Lighthouse?
Yeah.
I remember you're like, I have to clear this tree.
Oh
up.
yeah, I cut
I
like
have
the
to.
tree. The tree was like hanging 5 feet from the ground. I cut them up to like 15 feet
was
with
like-
a pole saw.
Here's
Yeah.
the gap, and then like the trees right
was bad.
over that gap. You need
Yeah.
to land, and
Yeah.
we're like, you have.
I did some
you
serious
can.
work on that hole.
Yes.
That hole needs it though.
It needs the good love. Yeah, that tree dangles. But unless you guys got anything else,
I don't.
that's
know.
about our
I mean,
time for today.
Really, we could just keep going all night.
I know.
but
I know.
We could chit chat for another 4 hours,
That's
but
what's fun about
Yeah,
this.
I'll
You guys
happily
keep
talk
going.
talk about my accolades all day.
Yeah.
Stroke that ego, Sully.
Yeah, seriously.
more and more.
More and more. Keep going. But yeah, I think we covered a lot here.
We covered a lot.
Yeah.
We're gonna leave
This
some
is
for
good.
Santos
We
when
can,
he
we can always
comes
bring you
back.
back down with that video from the strip.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I am the king. You should post that.
We should post that
I
as
am
a
the
teaser
king.
for this.
I love that video.
We will.
Our outro video from here on out.
It's my favorite video ever from LBC.
We'll get that one. Maybe we'll include it. Maybe we'll post it as a teaser.
Yeah, I think I have the picture of you proposing to some random dude on the strip.
Yeah, Vegas gets fun.
Yeah.
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas,
remember
except for
that
right now.
happening.
For sure.
Yeah.
It all comes up.
We're airing it out right now.
It's
Yeah.
generally Sully.
He must have been pretty high. I don't know.
Well, I want to thank these guys for joining me today, for filling in. They're making a great substitute for Santos. We will.
Big shoes to fill.
I'm sure
I'm a little guy, so
Big
when you need
shoes to
extra
fill.
shoes.
Literally big shoes to fill. I've worn them before.
They're huge.
I expect to see them back, all three of them back at some point again.
We'll
Hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully.
for sure.
This was a lot of fun.
If they'll come back, we'll have them back
Yeah.
for sure. We had a good time.
yeah, I
So-
appreciate you having us.
Awesome.
Honestly,
Yeah, I
like, this was
appreciate
crazy.
Yeah.
Having us out and
Yeah. Thanks for joining, guys, and take it easy out there.
Take care.
Gang, gang.